Favour? Those against? That is carried. Thank you very much.
Could I be against number 2, the taking the original out? So, yep.
Okay.
I don't see any point.
Yep. Okay, so now we are up to number 6, which is Norwest Arc Major Cycleway Section 3 Detailed Traffic Resolutions. It's got Richard. Pauline's going to move it and Melanie's going to second it. Oh, sorry, far away. Don't wait for me.
Thank you. This report refers to the section of the Norwest Arc, section 3B, which is between the intersections of Ilam and Aorangi Road through to Matsons and Heelwood Road. The purpose of this report is to seek the approval for the detailed resolutions and for the tree removals for the approved design. Council requested that staff investigate options that affected safety, parking and trees during the detailed design. Some minor changes to the design have been made to accommodate these investigations, resulting in an increase of parking and the removal of extra trees. However, project staff will continue to work with the arborists and explore a range of engineering and design solutions to see if some of these trees can be retained during construction. In order to avoid potential delays, we are seeking approval for the removal of the trees with an understanding that this will only take place when the tree is not able to be retained without incurring significant costs and design changes that would compromise the use of the cycleway and access of the properties. Free for questions.
That's it. Victoria.
Oh, thank you. You'll be aware that there was a previous notice of motion about a section of this cycleway. It was brought by James and seconded by me from Ilam to Wairaki, and it was based on concerns of the local community and their preference for an alternate design. I'm just going to ask, please, if you can confirm the recommendation resolution numbers, because I'd like to highlight those out for a voting perspective. So I've got 4 to 17 relate to the notice of motion area, and I have 18 and 19 relate to Brookside to Wairaki, and then resolutions 20 and 21 is the Wairaki intersection itself. Can you just confirm that I've got those numbers correct?
You've got those numbers correct.
Yeah, thank you. So just a note for the Secretariat, please, that I wish to highlight those recommendations because I'll be recording a vote against them. Thank you.
So, question from me. Once we do this, there's nothing to stop it getting built, is that
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Have we looked at doing those stick-on lumps of concrete rather than the full dig-out of curb?
We'll be working with the contractor when we get those final sums and that through the contractor. There'll be something we can look at a later date.
At
But
this,
no, sorry, the separators are the in situ style MCR.
but we haven't changed it from what we did in Ilam Road. It's the same as Ilam Road here. Is it 2 curbs back to back with?
Sorry, through
Yes. Yes.
through the chair, that is the design. Sorry, we've had a conversation about this.
I know
as
we
well.
have.
Yeah, and that will be done through the construction process and working with the contractor, as Richard alluded to before. So the design is the design. It's how we build it will be dealt with through the contractor rather than going back and redesigning it with our consultant.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it could end up with.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and we are working on that and having that conversation.
Thank you, Victoria.
Can I just have confirmation of cost? Because on this particular cycleway, we've seen some significant increased cost variations. So are you confident around the money that you've got on budget for this next section of the cycleway, please?
Yes, we are. We've got a number of other projects that are going to be working in conjunction with this project, as in the Aorangi Street renewal as well. So not all the costs are going to be just incurred by the MCR. So there'll be some of those costs that'll be
And have you got any cost contingency contained within that budget envelope that you've got?
Yes, we have.
I'll add to that. The contractor we've been working with has done a lot of investigation down that road over the past few months. So we do have a higher level of confidence in the costing at this stage.
Sorry, Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah, what percentage of what we're signing off today is funded by NZTA?
None of it. There's an element of it that's funded through Shovel Ready. I'd have to go away and look up the numbers of how much is left, but none of it's funded through NZTA.
So zero.
Zero through NZTA, but an element through Shovel Ready.
Right, okay.
So, which brings me to my question: is the MCR shovel ready money enough to do it from where we're starting to where we're finishing?
There's a council top up, so it's partly Shovel Ready, partly council. And I'd need to go away and come back with the numbers for what
I wouldn't
exactly the
mind
split
knowing
is.
what the council top up, but that's
Yeah.
apart from the road reconstruction underneath it. That's a totally different
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah. So as Richard said, we've set aside budget for looking at the deep dish on the other side of the road and the road renewal through there as well.
Yeah, that's part of the road reconstruction. But
Yeah.
say the road was all in good nick and we were just building that MCR,
Yeah.
we're doing a top up of our money over and above what's left of shovel ready.
Yes.
Okay, but if you could let me know that
Yeah.
sometime.
We can get to that split. Yeah.
Okay, Aaron?
Just a question around the Wairiki Road intersection. If this goes through today, then that intersection is cut off. That's it, isn't it? There is no... The design can't change again after today, can it?
The design's been approved,
Yeah.
so it's
that-
already approved.
So which cuts off the intersection and causes all the rat running.
Left in, left out on the Aotearoa Road into Wairiki.
Okay. Any other questions? I see that the people that have designed this are consultants. You know how happy I feel about how much money we spend on consultants when I think we could do some of it ourselves. How much, you won't know it, but you can tell me it later. How much is this cost for those consultants to do from this 3B, please?
We'll have to come back with that number.
And will those consultants be the project managers?
I'm the council project manager, and they're looking at doing probably the MSQA, so that'll be the contract management.
Yeah.
We're looking at what options we have in that area.
Okay, thank you. Yep. All right. So, Victoria's. I'm going to put anyone other questions. I'm going to put that. Debate. Better. Yeah. So, thank you, guys. You're all good. Is there any debate, Victoria?
Well, thank you. I am pleased to see this final section of the Norwest Arc being completed. It's going to give some much needed improvement to some of the residential streets, particularly around on Matson's Ave, which is a bit of a dog's breakfast at the moment, and along Aotearoa where it connects to Condell. One of the key benefits of this section of the cycleway is that it connects to the to the Northern Line, which is a really popular cycleway right up the railway corridor that's well utilised from people across the city. So I'm really pleased to see that connectivity will be able to be completed following this. As I raised in my questions, I have some reservations about some of the design aspects as per the notice of motion that was before us some time ago, and that's for the section from Ilam to Brookside to Wairiki, and I have major reservations about the design of the intersection with Wairiki Road. It's just nonsensical to me, and I think it's going to have a significant impact on the surrounding streets as people try and find alternate routes. That's a well-utilised intersection. And, you know, if one of the things we try to do as drivers is reduce our vehicle kilometres travelled, then this actually goes totally against the grain for that, because people will be travelling significant further distances to get to where they need to go. So I will be seeking to record my vote against the recommendation numbers that I referred to earlier on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to do some? Aaron?
Yeah, I actually support this route selection. I think where the route is travelling makes perfect sense. There's aspects of Aotearoa Road there where if we'd used that super wide berm, which is almost wide enough to develop and put a row of houses in, would have been the better outcome. And remembering what we're voting on, what we're doing today, that section through there, not one resident in that street agreed with it. So once again, we're doing it to the people. All the locals, and remember the local community board don't support this either. the intersection of Wairiki Road will have other impacts. It will increase the vehicle kilometres travelled. I would hazard to guess that by more than what will be reduced by an uptake in cycling through the area. And then it will also increase the risk of danger to motorists, pedestrians and cyclists, because when you create a left in, left out on an intersection that should have just got a set of lights for everyone to be able to cross it and use it like a normal intersection, people will go left out and then they go onto a busy road and they do a U-turn. And yes, that's on them, but that's us creating that behaviour by our design. And they do it at Heward Breen's Gardeners. They go left, but luckily we've got cut-out road islands, so it's a little bit easier. But there is hundreds per day do it there. There will be hundreds per day do it on this road here. So that is what happens. There is always unintended consequences to what could have been a great design. What's happening further down Matson's and connecting up to the Northern Line, I 100% support, and I think it'll really improve the area. But the intersection does not make sense, and Aorangi Road, we're doing it to them, not with them. So I think it'll put a number of them off using it, which is a real shame, because it would have been a beautiful patch to have been separated from the road and biking along. It made perfect sense when you saw it, but the design that come back from the consultants, not our own staff, I think really lacks inclusion in the neighbourhood. So like Victoria, I'll be voting against those parts. But the other parts I support, and I certainly support this as a route. It makes perfect sense to be biking through there.
James?
Thanks, Phil. Oh, look, I'll keep it brief. I just think I'm going to vote against the recommendations. I don't how we've gone about this. I'm not going to relitigate this now, but I've been pretty consistent in not supporting how this was done. So just for simplicity, I'm going to vote against the resolutions there because I'm not supportive of it. Thanks.
Okay, Sarah?
Kia ora. It's really pleased to be able to get to this point finally and finally get this signed off. I'd like to thank staff for the enormous amount of work and forbearance as council, as elected members have toed and froed on various designs. So thank you very much for that. It's really appreciated. I think we've got a good outcome here, and one that that a lot of people support. And I know that the university students, those going to Ireland that this connects to, this is going to capture a lot of those. Unfortunately, it's not going to quite link to the Northern Line because the last little section there on Harewood Road, connecting it, it won't be quite done. Though there are some quite back streets if they can head off this and round to connect maybe. I'd like to just note briefly that the Wairiki Aorangi intersection, of those who submitted who lived locally, the majority supported it. So for those local residents who supported that, who currently often avoid that intersection because it is currently so dangerous, I think they'll be pleased to see this. Thanks very much.
Anyone else? Right, me. I was fairly vocal on putting the, and because I was looking at ways of making the cycleway cheaper in that bit that I ended up door knocking everyone in that particular part, I think from Brookside back to Island Road, and none of them wanted it on the road. They all wanted it on the berm, and I'm still convinced to this day that it'd be a lot cheaper. Some of the numbers that we were disputed that. I would like to also, in the long run, I think what Victoria said, what Aaron have said, that it's going to join up to the Northern Line almost, which is great because it gets people out there. The other good thing about it is it's not on a main arterial. It's great because people feel a lot safer going down there. I'd like to one day have somewhere that we don't put MCRs on main arterials at all because they're too dangerous. We've got lots of side streets that we can do it on to make people feel safer. So I will be not voting on the ones that the numbers that Victoria said, but I will be supporting the whole thing. So, Kelly.
Yeah, when I was a young varsity student, I used to bike from Papanui to university down this route all the time. It was pretty safe, to be honest, to and from. The only place it wasn't was that Wairiki Aorangi intersection, which always used to Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not 100% happy with the intersection, but I understand why it's been done, and so I'll support most of it. But I'm going to join with Victoria and James around that area in terms of I'd much rather have seen something designed in possibly one of the widest booms in Christchurch, but we didn't go there, so that's democracy. But yeah, essentially I'll be supporting it except those parts, so cheers.
Okay, so I've got Kelly. Anyone else? Right. So I will put that, those in favour of the whole shebang. Right. And those against, none. But to be noted, the ones, have you got them, Sam?
I've got Councillor Henstock, Kewen, the Mayor, Barber, and Councillor Goff against all of them. Against just the selected ones.
And Mark.
How many?
Got Mark. Yeah, Scott. She's got.
Eaton's against the same ones. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against the selection. Sorry, 6 against the selected recommendations, 1 against all of them. So that's 7 in total. 15.
Because we haven't got Aaron, and so we haven't got Yanni.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's passed.
So that passes?
Yep.
Okay. Right. So that is passed. Okay, so I'll put that over there. I was under the understanding that the guy